Yeah, it's amazing because I don't know if you've ever read the book. I've mentioned it quite a few times on the podcast. It's called The First Global Village. And
Mhm.
it talks about, when you're talking about global villages, you talk about places like Dubai, New York, London, where people
Yeah,
come from all over the world. And Portugal was one of the first historically, where you had, like you talk about blame, but it was all over the country. I've been to a site in the Alentejo, which is like
mhm.
the Stonehenge of Portugal, which is these big stones, and it
Yeah,
was actually a meeting point, and it was where people used to trade and barter, but from everywhere. And at any given moment, there were communities all over the country that were from all over the world. And now it's almost like we've come full circle, and Portugal is back at this like kind of central meeting point. And I think it's super interesting because you talk about the language, that's definitely one, but there seems to be an openness here for networking. And being here for such a long time, I've found that the people that end up coming here regularly, whether they live here or whether they come back and forth, it's almost like they take on the Portuguese mentality of let's talk, let's connect, let's take the time to get to know each other.
yeah.
Have you had that similar experience?
Yes, completely. Like every time I feel like since the revolution, let's say, of working from home, like I mostly work
Yeah.
from from everywhere and and home. But what I find most impactful is like when, okay, vamos beber um cafezinho, and we get together in a coffee and we connect, and
Yeah,
always in person is always different, you know.
of
So I
course.
find that the connection, that the energy of people, it's completely another one when it's in
Yeah.
person, and you find the moment of, you know, it's that's why also the similarity with Italy is like, take it slowly.
The relationship
Let's
with time is the
yeah,
same. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's slow living.
Yeah. Because I was speaking to one of my colleagues about this, and everything, if if you go onto any kind of app or website, everything is AI driven now. Everything is
Yeah,
automated responses, which okay can be very convenient. But I feel like we're at a place in the world now where people just really want to connect on a real level. Really want the human side of things. Really want to be able to feel like they're heard, like they're understood. And I feel like you have this beautiful balance in Portugal where you've got the possibilities, you've got good infrastructure, you've got amazing internet, you've got all those things at work, but there's still that thing, like you said, like let's stop for a coffee, And I remember first coming to Portugal, and I remember once having, you know that I'm near to Abidos on the Silver Coast, and I went up went down to Lisbon for some meetings, and every single meeting was a coffee. No, we won't sit down here in the office. Come, let's go downstairs and go to the cafe. And I must have had like 8 coffees in one day. I was wired. It was just like, and
yeah, it can
but
happen.
this concept of let's stop, let's connect. As you know, like with being in real estate, I've accompanied many clients to a title deed, and it's this official event where you sit in a notary, and it's all of this documentation and all of these rules and things. But the person that's running the meeting or the lawyers, they're all chatting about food, and they're chatting about family, and they're asking the clients, where do you live? And there's this human side to things. And I
Yeah.
think that's so important in the world that we're living in today.
Yes. Completely, I agree 100% because they give more value to the person that's behind. It's not just about business because the most, I believe you can trust better someone if you know it from the authentic story, from the way how it make you feel as well. And so giving some time to just connect as life, because otherwise what else we behind titles, behind business, behind things, there's many stories, and especially in little villages there's things that is gonna be lost soon.
Yeah.
So it's very important to take some time to get to know each other behind the screens, of course, literally.
Yeah, in person.